Hi guys, it's Sarah from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and today I will be reviewing Simon vs. the Homosapien Agenda by Becky Albertali. Now before I begin, I would like to say that some things I may say in this review might be controversial to others and their opinions, and we could all have different opinions, and that is fine. But just because I have an opinion about something does not mean you have to agree with my opinion. So if you would like to debate some of my points below, I will be more than happy to debate it with you guys, as long as it's not I don't know how to put it. I'd be more than happy to debate with you guys as long as you're not an asshole about it. Like, I do not like debates where they're not logical. Like, I like debating. I just don't like it if you are stuck in your ways and won't listen to the other side. Because that's the point of debating, is to learn something and learn all types of different sides to the story. That being said, I really enjoyed Simon vs. Homosapiens Agenda. I gave it 9.4 out of 10 stars. It was a very enjoyable book. I loved Simon as a character. He was very awesome. I sometimes liked Simon's main love interest, Blue, which we'll get into later in the book. Later in the review, because this review will be filled with spoilers. I'll warn you before the spoilers start, don't worry. And Blue is actually one of my most controversial opinions about this book, so I might offend some people in my opinion, but at the same time, not everyone has the same opinion, so every once in a while someone will get offended by someone's opinion, and that's totally alright. I get offended by people's opinions all the time, but I still take time to listen to them. And that's okay. But I love this book. This book is a really great coming-of-age story with a great cast of characters and a pretty awesome family dynamic, which I don't really see in YA books that often. Like, usually it's just, oh, it's set in school, but when it's set in school, there's no real actual classes being taught, which is another thing I enjoyed about this book, because we do spend a little bit of time in the theater class, and I really love theater as well, and we spend it in different sporting events, and it was like actually going back to high school, and I enjoyed that aspect as much as I enjoyed, like, the aspect of friends, but sometimes not really hanging out with friends, because sometimes you just don't want to hang out with friends. Like, this is a very controversial book. I love books with morally gray characters, and I feel like there's a lot of morally gray characters in here, as well as Illuminae, which is the other book that I read. It was just, I love books with characters that aren't, like, one-dimensional. This book has very fleshed out characters, and it's a pretty short book, so if you're looking for a good love story with an LGBT main character, great side characters, and a good family dynamic, I would suggest picking up Simon vs. Homosapiens Agenda, because it is a pretty awesome book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But that is all for my non-spoiler part of my review. Come back later if you want to hear me talk about my spoilers and thoughts for the book, which I'll be getting into in about 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes, like 2 seconds. Sorry, but until then, go read it. It's worth your time. The audiobook, I wouldn't say is, like, amazing. It's just like a normal audiobook, and there were times that the voice actor really did annoy me at parts, but it was okay. It's an okay audiobook. If you prefer listening to audiobooks like I do at the moment, because I used to not like audiobooks, and now I love audiobooks. Because they're so much more convenient for a girl that works a 9-hour shift. shipped with nothing to do except stock shells. But go out and read this, and I will see you guys when you come back. Okay, so for all of you that are new here, I usually like to start off with my characters and how I felt about the characters. So let's start off with Simon. I think Simon was a pretty great main character for the story. Usually I don't like following guys' perspectives in stories because I don't feel like most times I could relate to guys because I'm a woman, so I'm not really in their mindset. It's like I could say that I'm in a guy's mindset all the time. It doesn't really mean I actually know what they go through because I don't have those genetics or parts or traditional values that most guys get raised with. But I do find it very interesting and refreshing to follow a male perspective every once in a while. Now, what I liked most about Simon's perspective was the fact that not everything was about sex, because one thing I could fault a guy's main protagonist is the fact that a lot of them do talk about sex, and it seems like it's on their mind 24/7, and with Simon, it's not on his mind 24/7. Is his interest in Blue on his mind 24/7? Yeah, but he also thinks about other things. He thinks about his family life, about the blackmail, and yeah, him thinking about Blue is like maybe 92% or 90% of this book, but it wasn't as overwhelming as some books are with the male sexuality, and I feel like I'm talking to you like I'm a teacher or something that knows anything about the male psychology, because I really don't. But I liked how Simon wasn't a loner. He didn't really go off and do his own thing. While he could, he still enjoyed hanging out with other people. And I found him really intriguing. Was he my favorite character out of all his book? Not really, but I did enjoy his perspective for the most part. I adored his relationship with Blue, even though I did have some problems with Blue. That made me crushed my heart because I felt so bad for Simon at some point. And I think this is a great segue into talking about Blue, but I will mention Simon's family in this review too. I loved his family. I loved his sisters Nora and Alice, and I love how they were basically named after Alvin and the Chipmunks. That was pretty hilarious, I must say. I adored that. Now, going into the main character of Blue, I like how he was from a different kind of household, and how there are different kind of family dynamics in here, and I like how Simon gets made aware that not everyone lives in the perfect family house. Not everyone has a home with the mom and the dad and sisters. Like, Blue's parents are split up. I think his mother has a boyfriend, and his father has a stepmother who is now having a baby, and Blue is like 17, I think, as well. And when you have a brother or sister that late in life, sometimes it's weird, and I like how they dive into that somewhat, like how people aren't sure how to feel when they're so much older than their sibling, but it was pretty interesting. And then Leah is also from a home where her dad left her mother after he cheated on her mother with his assistant, who was only like 19 years old, and that's a huge no for me. Like, I know love is love, and I don't try to judge anyone, but if anyone is like 25 to 30 years your junior mate, like, you do you. I just don't really agree with it. One thing I didn't really like about Blue is the fact that Simon wanted so desperately to meet him. And then Blue was just like, no, I'm not ready. And I do get that some people aren't ready for that type of commitment. And I do appreciate that Blue said he wasn't ready, but at the same time, when Simon was thinking that Blue was a coward for doing this, I kind of agreed with him on some parts. Like, yeah, I get it. I get his perspective and viewpoint. But at the same time, you just can't hide behind a computer screen forever, or else you're gonna lose him. Like, how can you love someone when they're not actual reality? It was just, I don't know, like, I loved the character Blue, and I loved their relationship, even though they weren't physically together, because I do get what it's like having a relationship when you're not physically together, because I have been in a long-distance relationship with my husband, no less, and we did pretty amazing. So I get the power of email and text, and meeting someone without the face-to-face part of it, and just coming together because of common interest and values, and not just because of how pretty they look. I found it a very interesting dynamic, and I do love their relationship. There's just some parts of how the relationship gets handled that I don't really like, but overall, pretty cute relationship. And while we're talking about Blue, who is aka Bram, we have to talk about if I knew it was gonna be Bram. There was a small part of me that knew it was gonna be Bram. In my mind, like, he was one of my guesses, because I'm all like, it's gonna be one of the most not obvious characters, and I was right about that, because Bram, you only meet Bram every so often in this book, and he sits with Bram, and Bram seems to have a very subtle interest in him. Like, there was, like, not gonna lie, I really wanted it to be Cal, because I really loved Cal, and we'll get into that in a minute. I really hope that Cal is in Leah and on the Offbeat, I believe it's called, because I would totally ship that. Like, Cal and Leah, like, they're both, like, it's not mentioned in here that Leah is bisexual, but in the synopsis of the next book, it says that Leah is bisexual, and so is Cal, because Cal also says that he's bisexual. So it might be a cute love story, but at the same time, there's this other guy who's interested in Leah. I can't remember his name because he's one of Bram's friends. But I think it was pretty solid. It would be a pretty solid relationship. On that note, let's get into Simon's friends. Okay, Leah, I really liked. I didn't really have a problem with her. I really felt bad for her when Simon, Abby, and Nick decided to hang out without her. I totally get what it's like to feel left out of a group outing that you're not invited to, because sometimes other people just want to be left alone and don't want your mopiness. But at the same time, when you struggle with depression, a lot of people don't really understand what you're going through. And I understand why Leah was fucking pissed about that. I would be also. I've been in that situation where I've been fucking pissed off at my friends for doing that kind of stuff. But I forgave them nonetheless, because sometimes people just need to not hang out with you, and that's totally fine. And especially because they're teenagers, and they do act like teenagers. I really like that. Let's go to Abby. I really liked. I think she was, like, one of the best characters in this book, to be honest. I liked how during the play, and when she was doing Simon's makeup, Martin told her the truth about what he did to Simon, and I like how Abby just takes him aside and tells him that that's not really the right thing to do. She doesn't care if he was being blackmailed. It's not up to him to choose who she wants to be with, and she'll date whoever she wants to date, and I appreciate that, because I have had a lot of people try to set me up before, and while it didn't end, like, horribly, it's just, like, come on, guys. Guys, just let people be with whoever they want to be with. Unless you see red flags in that relationship, then maybe talk to your friend about what you see, but be very gentle about it. Just don't go like, I think your boyfriend's an asshole, or else they're probably not gonna listen to you. But also I love Abby and Simon. How Abby is the first one to know that Simon's gay. Like, I love how well she took it, and how she just squeezed his hand and pretty much told him he was gonna be okay, and she still loves him the way he is, and we just need more people like that. Honestly, I also love his drama teacher, and how she decided to handle the students who were trying to make fun of him and pretty much bully him for being gay. Like, I hate people who do that, and it's just, but I love how the teacher handled it. I love how some people were gonna get expelled because they were dealing with it. Like, some teachers will just let it happen, and that's one thing I find wrong in the school systems, is that some teachers will just let it happen, even though they have zero tolerance for bullying. And I know some people are gonna say, no, the schools don't really do that, but I have a lot of mothers on my feed, and how the school systems deal with bullying is really a problem, even though it's supposed to be zero tolerance for bullying. I know they can't get to every child, and I get that, but I was also bullied as a child, and sometimes as a teenager as well. I just learned how to deal with it, but it's not an okay thing to do, no matter what you think, if you think it is or not. It was just, I don't know. Nick, I didn't really feel like was in the story enough for me to actually get a feel of what he does. It's cool that he's a musician and all, but I really didn't know a lot about him. Was he Jewish? I think he was Jewish, actually. Or was it Martin that was Jewish? Not 100% sure. Nick, all I ever knew about Nick was that he was interested in Abby, and Leah was interested in him. And Abby and Nick wanted to hang out without Leah because they knew that Leah would get upset if they saw Abby with Nick, and I get what that's like too. That's also relatable, because I've also had a lot of crushes who have liked other girls. But most important lesson about this book is you just can't make people like you. Speaking of not making people like you, Cal in this one. I got kind of sad that Cal and Simon did not end up together. Like, I like Bram. I even love Bram. Like, he's a great love interest. But at the same time, I really love Cal, and I really hope we see him and Leah in the offbeat. I really do. I feel like he's a great character, and pretty interesting, honestly. And then, trying to think of who else I could say in this book. Okay, let's get the cat out of the bag. Let's talk about Martin in this book. Well, actually, let me talk about Simon's family first, because Martin, I got a lot to say about Martin. Like his mother and father, I appreciated their side of the story. I liked how his mother said, I love you no matter what happens, and you'll always be my baby no matter what. But I want to know things about, and I get that I'm very invasive at times, but I want to know things about you. You don't know what it's like to wake up one day and realize that your child is growing up. How during one part of your life, they always relied on you, and you never missed a second of their life, and then suddenly they go to school, and they part away from you, and you don't know everything that's going on. I get that. Like, I relate to Simon's parents so much. So much, because I have had friends who are mothers that go through the same thing. I personally am not a mother. I can't wait to be a mother, but at the same time, it's not going to happen for another couple of years. I already decided that, but who knows? Now, than his father, I really appreciate the fact that his father felt like an asshole because he made gay jokes about his son, not realizing that his son was actually gay. And I like how chill and cool they were when Simon came out. I liked Addison. I like how she gave Simon and Blue time together away from his parents. I did appreciate that Simon was acting like an asshole to his parents, and his parents said, no, we're not gonna let you be an asshole. And I do appreciate that he got grounded in this book, because I almost never see a main character get grounded. Like, it was like a very realistic side of being a teenager, like mouthing off to your parents and getting in trouble for it, because usually when main protagonists mouth off to their parents don't do anything, especially in fantasy novels. Like, what? If I mouthed off to my mother, I would be grounded for months. So getting on the subject of Martin, some parts I liked Martin, but at the same time, I never really forgot that he was blackmailing Simon. That's not really cool. And if you like a girl, don't blackmail someone into, trying to get in with her, because what would happen if it actually succeeded? What happened if you actually got the girl? Do you think everything in your relationship would be fine and dandy if that girl had found out that you blackmailed her best friend into spending time with her? Like, if I ever found out that someone did that with me, that would be an automatic red flag, an automatic breakup, because I do not enjoy people who blackmail people to get what they want, and, so that's a great way to segue to things I didn't like about this book. I didn't like the blackmail aspect. I didn't like that Martin was blackmailing Simon with his personal emails, even though he deleted them off his screenshots, which, by the way, never take screenshots of a person's email. I think that's actually fucking illegal, for one. I think he could actually get arrested for that if he did screenshot his emails, and Simon had proof that he did. Just don't do it. If you are interested in a person, then go and tell that person. Don't make their friend your little bitch and get him to do whatever you want because you're interested in a woman, because it's not gonna work. It's just, Another thing I hated was the fact that they pretty much bailed on Leah. Yeah, I get you want your alone time, but don't just hang out with, almost all the friend group without Leah, because you're gonna have to do that eventually. And if you want time together as a couple, then don't include Simon in your little tiny date either. It's just, there's a lot of things you could have done differently, and no wonder Leah was fucking pissed at you. Other things that I didn't like about this book, I hate that it took me so long to read this book, honestly. That's a personal problem, and not really anything. Now, the hugest problem I have this book, I'm not even really mad about this scene where he gets drunk and other stuff. Some parts of Blue not being ready to meet Simon kind of made me mad, but at the same time, I get it. I can't be that cruel to a person. Because especially I know what it's like not to want to share everything about your relationship with people yet. I get it. But the one thing that made me fucking furious about this book is Martin outing Simon to the entire school on Tumblr. Now, I don't give a fuck. If you're mad, if you think this person betrayed you, if you feel justified and you need to do it, there is no fucking good reason to out a person to everyone. That is, a person's sexuality is their business. It is none of your business. You should be ashamed if you're outing a person, because this is just a huge no. Like, would you like everything about yourself being aired to people on social media? I know I wouldn't. And I know some people are really okay with their sexuality, and it's cool if they do it, but it's their own personal damn business, and you should never out a person if they don't want to be outed, because that is up to them. It is never your job to tell people about this, and it's never okay. It's just, I have so many issues with this, because I have had a situation in which a couple of my friends were outed before, because a lot of people are assholes, honestly. Trust the wrong person and they'll fuck you over, but it's just, Martin doing that is why I can never forgive Martin. I don't understand how he got, I have a feeling that if I watch the movie, I'm gonna be pissed off, because I hear that Martin gets, forgiven easily, and I don't want that to happen. Like, who would forgive a person for outing them? Like, it's not okay to ever spill a secret that someone told you in confidence, even if you accidentally knew the secret. Like, you don't know this person's life. You don't know if it was gonna destroy. I like the fact that after Martin did that, he felt like a huge asshole, because he should feel like a huge asshole. If you ever out someone, you should feel like the biggest fucking asshole in this world. Honestly, and that is all I gotta say about outing people. Don't do it. You wouldn't like your dirty laundry sprinkled everywhere, so don't air people's personal business out there. Like, God, even if they said it was okay for you to do it, it's never okay for you to tell someone's secret. It's just, Okay, going to that, things I loved about this book. Well, this whole book was great. I love the family dynamic in this book. I love the friendship group in this book. And this book is just it's overall great. I like Leah and Nora and their little tiny band that they have with, I don't remember the girl's name, but I did like that scene where the girl they thought was so perfect at everything goes out of the auditorium to chase those guys who are teasing Simon. Because it just shows that no matter how much of an asshole you think people are, you don't know them as well as you think you do. I like how there's, depth, even, the slightest side characters, and they have character development in characters that you don't see a lot. It's just, it's amazing. Sad scene. Gotta say, whenever Nora tells Simon he's been outed, and when Simon really just wants to meet Blue because he wants to be there for him. And then favorite scenes. Oh god, I think my favorite scene was when Simon and Blue finally met on the Tilt-A-Whirl. It was just so great. And their Oreo thing, when they went on a picnic and Bram bought Oreos, that was great. But I gotta say, my favorite thing overall about Simon versus the Homosapiens agenda is that it's very realistic and real. I never felt like it was a story. I felt like I was listening to someone's personal story and not a work of fiction. It was really great, and I like books that could do that. But there you guys have it. That was my review for Simon versus the Homosapiens Agenda by Becky Albertali. I'm sorry I went into a mini rant over there. Like I said, some people might not like the things I say about this book, that they're my personal opinions, comment down below and let me know what you thought of this book, and I will see you guys for my next video. Bye!